So it's not like an Oxford, it's actually a book or what? It's not an Oxford.
No. Why am I white one? I traded her. They're home. That one has the. Because it's white, it starts getting dirty. So these are older than those, but I use the laptop. I didn't go there. Really? Me?
I'm not even on time.
Laughing? He's a director. Yeah, he's practicing. He's getting better. The former Marine.
We're all here. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sergeant Victor Vela. I am the first vice president for the El Paso Municipal Police Officers Association. It's a mouthful, so we just say EPMPOA. We want to thank our Sheriff's Union and ourselves. We're hosting this event. Thank you for all our law enforcement brothers and sisters for being here for this great occasion. So I'm pleased to announce the official endorsement of Governor Greg Abbott for re-election as governor of the state of Texas. The EPMPOA is grateful for the continued support Governor Abbott has shown to law enforcement and all first responders throughout the state of Texas. His tenure as governor, he's committed to public safety, officer wellness, and strong communities has been a meaningful impact across the state of Texas. We look forward to the continued great work Governor Abbott will accomplish in the years ahead.
My name is Paul Perez. I'm the president of the National Border Patrol Council, the Border Patrol Union for Border Patrol agents that are located throughout the entire country with thousands of members here in Texas. And on behalf of the National Border Patrol Council, we strongly endorse and support Governor Greg Abbott for many reasons, but most importantly, because of the fact that during the chaotic Biden administration, if it were not for Governor Abbott and what he did on the border, Texas would have been overrun. It was bad enough that Biden allowed millions of people into the country unvetted, but Governor Abbott stood up for all of us and said, hey, you know what? Not in Texas. He allowed the National Guard, he allowed the Texas DPS to come in and essentially do the job for us because our administration took us off the line, put us behind a desk, and had us processing and releasing millions of people into this country. We're very, very fortunate that Governor Abbott took the actions he took by securing the border in a way that hadn't been secured before. If it weren't for Governor Abbott, Texas would have been worse, one of the worst locations along the southwest border because this was the main funneled entry point, and what Governor Abbott did definitely saved Texas, and for that we owe him a debt of gratitude, and we support and endorse Governor Abbott. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Clint McDonald. I'm the Executive Director of the Texas Border Sheriff's Coalition, retired sheriff of Terrell County in 2016. In 2021, I received a call from Governor Abbott when Operation Lone Star was just on the table being discussed, and we talked about the effects of what was happening on the border with our border sheriffs. We're talking about 20 border counties that were getting run over, some of them on the verge of bankruptcy. We met in Del Rio, Texas with the governor in June of 21, then again in July of 21, we met at the Capitol, and I was able to take 4 Democratic sheriffs to Austin from the border to testify for Operation Lone Star for the governor, because those 4 sheriffs from Democratic counties knew the trouble they were facing every day and what their citizens were facing. So they had to stand up for the governor. And since then, the governor has at our backs. And as a 501c3, we cannot endorse as a group, but we do have Valverde County, Zavala County, Dimmitt County, Brewster County, Presidio County here that will endorse Governor Abbott today, and myself as a retired sheriff and as chief of police of Petersburg, Texas, I support Governor Abbott, and we will continue to support him as long as he wants to lead this great state.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to Clint, to Paul, and to Victor for their endorsements, but also I thank them for them and their organizations for what they do every single day. I thank all the men and women behind me, those who dedicate their lives to law enforcement. You know, we get endorsements from a lot of different types of organizations. There's really only one type of organization that we get endorsements from, where the endorsers are people who put their lives on the line, risk their lives unfortunately, some of the members lose their lives in the line of duty because of what they do. I respect them for what they do. There is an urgent, ongoing need for public safety in our state and in our communities, and I want these officers to know they have a governor in Texas who has their backs. The fact is, I've been committed to law enforcement my entire life. When I graduated from Duncanville High School just outside of Dallas, I was given a scholarship to go to college from the Duncanville Police Department. The scholarship was awarded based on someone they thought would be committed to law enforcement. It turned out they made a pretty good investment. As I went on to be a judge, attorney general, and as governor, I've repeatedly focused on doing everything possible to ensure safe communities across our state. These men and women who gather with me today, they know because they've seen firsthand the way that I work with them every single day to make sure they have the tools and the resources and the support they need to get their jobs done. And I appreciate their support because their support shows the reaffirmation of our collective commitment to the people of Texas to keep our communities safe. More specifically, I want to repeat their names because it means so much. Those endorsing today include the National Border Patrol Council, the El Paso Municipal Police Officers Association, the Texas Game Warden Peace Officers Association, Clint McDonald, and Sheriff Boyd from Goliad County, Brooks County Sheriff Martinez, Zabala County Sheriff Salinas, Dimmick County Sheriff Castaneda, Webb County Sheriff Cuellar, Culberson County Sheriff Carrillo, Sheriff Dotson from Brewster County, Sheriff Dominguez from Presidio County, Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez from Valverde. These are law enforcement leaders in their communities who serve in ways that go beyond the imagination. And whether it be on the federal side, those working on the border in some of the toughest conditions ever, or those who are in the local level in whatever community. I thank them for everything they do, and their endorsement means a lot. As all of them have articulated, we have fought together against crime, and particularly along the border. I fought with them to keep Texas safe, and what we did, we provided a united front to tackle the unprecedented conditions that we faced on the border over the course of the past 5 years. We confronted daily and deadly dangers because of Biden's open border policies that allowed in more than 11 million people. And as it turns out, many of those people were completely unvetted. Many of them were very dangerous. Many of them had turned out to be killers in the state of Texas as well as in other states. And what they had done in the past of repelling and denying entry is amplified now by not only denying entry, but now looking for and finding all of these dangerous criminals who've been allowed into our state and into our country, and identifying them, arresting them, jailing them, and eventually sending them back to where they came from. Together, we arrested thousands of criminals, including Mexican drug cartels, human smugglers, drug traffickers, and cop killers. And on a daily basis, everybody in this room has been involved in seizing deadly fentanyl. We have collectively seized more than enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the United States, Canada, and Mexico combined. Untold are the hundreds, maybe thousands of names of people whose lives have been saved because of the fentanyl these officers have taken off the streets. Law enforcement and public safety require ongoing vigilance, and that is what we pledge to the people of Texas, to ensure that our border remains secure, to take the fight to the transnational narco-terrorist, to enforce our nation's laws, to weld shut the revolving door of easy bail for repeat criminals, and to keep those dangerous criminals behind bars. I cannot express enough the gratitude that I have for the support for my reelection from these law enforcement officers and their organizations. I thank them for the service and their sacrifice for what they do every day. They represent the very best of who we are as a state. And as long as I'm governor of Texas, I will always have their back. Thank you all very much. take a few questions.
Governor,
Sure.
regarding the election, given the amount of conservative candidates that found a home here in El Paso that's been traditionally Democratic, do you or your office have a specific strategy to try to keep that progress going?
So the process is really already going. I've been to several events already, campaign events already, in El Paso that had record turnouts, way beyond what we even imagined. We didn't even have space large enough for the people who were turning out. So there's something that's bubbling up here. And it really is pretty easy to identify because really it's come down to common sense. It turns out that it's common sense to support stopping illegal immigration. It defies common sense to have open border policies. It is just common sense to support law enforcement as opposed to the defund the police movement. It's just common sense policy not to let boys play in girls' sports. And it's common sense and needed policy that we cut property taxes in Texas, a position, by the way, that is opposed by some Democrats. And so if we just run on those 4 issues alone, we're going to be winning more and more and more in El Paso and across the entire state.
Governor, you just came to El Paso about 3 months ago advocating for the amendments that were part of the ballot. All of them passed through. What other topics or what would you still like to push to the finish line if you were to win another term?
So there's several things we've got to do for another 4 years. Number one is, even though we've made great strides with those amendments to cut property taxes, what we're doing is a repeat of what we've done in the past. We've got to change the game. We need a comprehensive property tax reform that will truly lead to lasting property tax reductions. They include restricting the ability of property taxing authorities to increase taxes. The state of Texas has limitations on how much we can spend. Local governments that impose property taxes should have restrictions on how much they can spend. Second, no property tax should ever go up without the people having a vote on it. And I say that for a property tax increase to go into effect, it must be voted on by the people and have two-thirds of the people vote in favor of it. Next is appraisal reform. Appraisals are skyrocketing, and they must be reined in. By Texas law, the valuation of your home is, the appraisal valuation of your home is allowed to go up 10% a year. That must be limited to no more than 3% a year. And as opposed to having your property reappraised every year, have it reappraised only once every 5 years. And the last is, the largest part of your property tax bill is the school district component of the property tax bill. I say that for people who own a home, that the state of Texas be in charge of that revenue for our schools and have the state fully fund our education system and stop the property taxes in people's homes. So that's just one of several things we want to achieve this next session. Property tax reform, public safety. We have to remain committed to securing the border, understanding this important fact, and that is halfway through the term of the next governor of Texas, there's going to be a change in presidency. None of us know right now who that president is going to be. Is it going to be someone like the current president or someone like the former president? What we got to have is a governor who remains committed to securing our border and stopping illegal immigration and going after the dangerous cartels that are killing people in the state of Texas.
Governor, I want to touch on education really quickly. You were a supporter of school voucher programs. Do you have a message for some public schools and some school districts who feel like they weren't adequately funded this last session? And how will you continue to adequately fund public schools?
So there's several purposes of school choice. One is to ensure that every parent will have the ability to choose the education pathway that's best for their child. But school choice injects competition into education. It is competition for public schools, private schools, charter schools, home schools, and with that competition, it's going to lead to a better result. We wanted to ensure that public schools would be able to compete on that playing field. That's why we provided the largest funding increase in the history of Texas, more than $8 billion for our public schools. We provided $4.4 billion for teacher pay raises, the largest teacher pay raise ever in the history of our state. Our schools are better funded than they've ever been. Our teachers are more highly paid than ever before to make sure they're going to be able to compete on the playing field when we are looking to elevate education for everybody. I have a single goal through this process, and that is to ensure that among the #1 rankings we have in the state, that we rank #1 for educating our kids. These programs together will ensure Texas is on the pathway to ranking #1 for educating our children.
Two more questions.
Governor, talking about immigration, what do you think it should be the relationship between local agency with the federal agency? Just today we have a major operation in East El Paso where several people were arrested in a construction area. What do you think about it?
So, immigration enforcement is law enforcement. Law enforcement works best when there's collaboration at every level, local, state, and federal. And these people, the law enforcement officers, they are charged to enforce the laws, not make them, but enforce them. And they must be unimpeded in enforcing those laws. And it's very helpful when we have state and local officials helping federal officials. And the opposite is true also. It's very helpful when the state is trying to enforce laws that we have federal backup for what we're doing as a state. So bottom line is, communities are safer when all levels of law enforcement work collaboratively.
Last question.
Adding on to the immigration issue,
Go ahead. I'll let you both ask one.
I'm sorry about that, thank you. Adding on to that, definitely ensuring the safety of Texans has been a priority. We just mentioned all the results and also Operation Lone Star 2.0. But El Paso is also home to Camp East Montana. People are against it, people are for it. What's your point of view also addressing those 2 deaths that have happened? Do you think it deserves the backlash it has received?
If you could go back, you said El Paso is also home to, and I didn't hear.
Operation Camp East Montana, excuse me. It's East Montana?
Yeah, it's an
It's-
ICE
Yeah, it's
detention
an
center.
ICE detention center. It has,
Okay.
it could become possibly one of the largest ones.
Got it.
Recently, the second death inside this detention facility was announced by ICE officially, but there's been a lot of not campaigns, but people outside just protesting. Do you believe this locations deserve the backlash it has? Because at the end of the day, they're pretty much just ensuring the safety of Texans as well, right?
Well, you're exactly right that when detentions and arrests are made of people who are here in violation of the law, for one, the federal government has the authority to detain them and then to process them and then to deport them or keep them in jail for a long period of time, providing due process, of course. And so all they're doing is carrying out the function of law enforcement. You always find some people who protest when law enforcement is enforced, and as long as protest is peaceful, that's not a problem. It's when those who protest violate the law. You cannot assault a law enforcement officer, you cannot assault a fellow citizen. If you assault anybody, if you harm anybody, you yourself are subject to being arrested. And so protest if you want to, do so peacefully, but allow law enforcement to do their job, enforce the laws that Congress has passed or the state legislature has passed.
Governor, we saw the divide during the last legislative session in the state of Texas. Democrats left the state. Under another term, under your leadership, do you expect for there to be more collaboration between Democrats and Republicans, or what would that look like?
So I would expect it to be so. I will tell you, I haven't seen the support yet by Democrats in favor of the #1 issue in the state, and that is cutting your property taxes. And that there could be division if Democrats don't step up and start supporting my property tax cut proposition. If they don't, there will be that division again, and I'll be once again seeking to make sure that we elect representatives who are going to vote in favor of cutting the property taxes of the people of Texas.
That's all we got time for. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You got it.
Thank you so much.
Ready to do this? You guys have guns on, man. Sorry, are you on?
We're going to do some group photos up here, so if you and your organizations want to come up here, please.
Starting with Border Patrol.
Starting with Border Patrol.
All right, all those that are part of the Border Patrol,